Let's welcome in the Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson. He joins us in the Doug Gottlieb Show. ED, have you seen the Rams' new logo?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I just got the phone with some of the guys. We had a call then just a minute ago to the team that helped kind of put the logo together.
What'd you think?
No, don't like it. I mean, I think I'm like most people, I just
all of them? I'm like, because I do like the new Ram head. Like, there's actually a head of a ram.
The head, the with like the bone head, like
yes.
the one like a skeleton head.
Yes. Kind of like
that's
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all right. That ain't good. That's okay. I mean, that one is cool. I mean, really, I think that I think we'll use that as like the logo for like wear, like sportswear. I don't think that's gonna be the logo on the helmet. But it's like anything. Like I asked the guys, I said, why mess with something that's good?
Right.
I said it's like the Cowboys don't change their logo, the Raiders don't change their logo,
right.
The Colts who in Indianapolis,
right?
I mean, when Baltimore, why? I mean, why? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Preach. Yeah. What was the answer? To sell more stuff?
No answer. It was really no answer because you have no answer. There's no answer to that. It's like, yeah, you're right, but it's just something that, because, LA is feel like the team is in St. Louis, now they're coming back to LA and this and that. But I said that has nothing to do with nothing.
No, nobody. I mean, you tell them. Gottlieb said, "I've lived here. I was born here. No one thinks of them as the St. Louis Rams. Ever.
No one. I
no
say
one.
The same thing.
No
one.
one.
No one does. Even though the players played there, you give them respect for playing. Because I say anybody who played under the Ram logo, no matter where they were, they still played for the Rams. I don't care if they're in St. Louis, if they could be in Istanbul. They could be in the Istanbul Rams, whatever. But the logo, I'm not feeling it. I just don't like it. And I hope to God that they don't change the logo on the helmet. Put that on the helmet, because if they put that on the helmet, that's going to be a disaster.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on how they handled Todd Gurley?
I don't think it was done right. I think it was a kind of like I was almost like makeshift. I mean, I feel like Todd deserved better than that. I mean, I really think he deserved a lot better. If you're gonna release him, don't put it out to the whole world. Like, hey, we're gonna think about trading Todd Gurley. Now we're gonna cut him, and then all of a sudden, when you want to try to move him, everyone knows you're talking about cutting. I talked to Todd, and Todd said that, they want to try to get some draft pick, get a draft pick for me, and then somebody take that contract. He said, man, well, nobody gonna do that. If they know that, people know they're gonna cut me, possibly cut me. So he said, I wouldn't do it. I mean, Todd was good. He's good. I mean, he's good with it. I just feel like that he earned the respect to be treated better than that. That's just my opinion, but. We know this is the world of football. I mean, that's how football is. You see that they traded Tom Brady. They let Tom Brady go in free agency. So, and in this sport, you have to have thick skin. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this.
Yes. What
the hell are we going to do at running back? I mean, because I'm just going to be honest. I mean, we are not right now. You know what? This is I always felt this. I felt this the last 2 years. Even when Todd had his really good year, the year before we went to the Super Bowl. And then last year, I said, we really want to throw the football. Mm-hmm. That is what we want to do. I mean, if you want to have an identity, but our identity is really throwing the ball. And Todd said it to me. He said, we are a throwing football team. He said, I'm telling you, that's what we do. We don't really want to run the football. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have faith in our coaches and stuff. But you have to run the ball. You have to have an identity. And you tell me, Doug, what was the Rams' identity last year? Did they have one?
I don't really think they had one. I think it was just a mishmash.
They didn't have one.
Yeah.
They didn't have one. Sometimes they had Jared Goff throw the ball 68, 69 times, and it was terrible. He'd throw it 58 times. It was terrible. Then we'd come back, we'd mix it up. We'd run it and throw it, and it was better. I mean, look, I know our offensive line was beat up, and that's part of it. When your offensive line is hurt, it's hard to do anything. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, but we had some problems with offensive line, banged up, guys hurt, guys that got traded, guys that taken, we got on new contracts, other teams. But if it starts with that offensive line, if we can't protect the quarterback or get the running back places to run, it's not going to happen.
So, Tom Brady's in Tampa now. What are how big a challenge do you think that's going to be for him to learn a new system and to play for a guy that really likes to throw the ball down the field?
Well, Bruce Arians is a coach. I really like Bruce Arians. I like him. I think he'll do well there. think he will most definitely, do what's good for the team and for Tom Brady to help them win. I think Tampa has a good offensive line. At least they showed it against us. Defense is not bad. Good wide receivers. Are they going to the Super Bowl? I would probably say they're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't think, but you never know. Anything could happen if you're on a hot run. But I think Tom will do fine there. I think he'll do good there. I mean, it's hard to make a change going to a new team. It really is. When I left the Rams and wearing that, and I only played for the Rams for almost 5 years, 4.5 years, putting on that coach uniform, it was odd. It's odd walking to a locker room. Everything is different because you're used to your setup that you have, that you played for. He played there for 20 years. Think about that. Not 10, not 5, not 15, but 20 seasons.
Yeah, it's
he's
crazy.
been in New England.
Crazy.
It's hard. Your mindset will still go back in New England. In his heart, let me tell you this here. When I left the Rams, in my heart, I was heartbroken. I really was, because I want to always be a Ram. As a man on the outside, you show like I'm not going to show like I'm hurt, but I guarantee you, his feelings are hurt. They have to be, because he gave so much to that organization. He gave them 6 Super Bowls. Could have been 7, could have been 8. But he gave them 6 Super Bowls. No player's ever done that. And for them to, in a sense, like, okay, you can take this or you can go on your way. I mean, to me, it should have made that work some kind of way. But, like I said, once again, this is football, so you got to have thick skin. How
much do you think Phillip Rivers has left in the tank?
Man, Phillip throws a lot of interceptions. I think Phillip he tried to squeeze the ball in. He really can't move. He can't run. I'm not sure as a quarterback he can throw the football. But is that going to work in Indianapolis? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's gonna be one and done. That's just my opinion. I think Phillip is a Hall of Famer now. I mean, personally, I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I think he's a Hall of Famer for sure. That's just my opinion, and I'm just saying it. But I think he's a Hall of Famer. But I just don't think that's gonna work in Indy. I mean, I think that they should have gave Bissett another shot, or better yet, I mean, I think Tom Brady would have been great there. I mean, I think he'd have been good there.
Yeah, he's not going to go play. That organization's more Peyton's team, I'm sure they would.
I know that's right. That's a Peyton Manning team, and Tom going that'd have been kind of odd. But hey, you know what? This is football. It's not about what you like, what you don't like. It's about winning. That's what it comes down to. Winning Super Bowls. That's what each team cares about.
E, great to catch up with you, man. Hope you're doing well, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Doug.
That's Eric Dickerson, who, by the way, just a great dude, and it's really hard to get an opinion out of him. Right? Like he works for the Rams, but they allow him he's like, man, I'm not feeling the logo at all, not at all. That's Eric Dickerson. It's great, awesome, a great player who has his own opinions and willing to share them, but through no mean spirit at all. It's just like, this is what I think. I love him. Amazing. What'd you think of the logo? I just got off the phone with him. Nah, not feeling it. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. This from Vic Tafer, and Vic covers the Raiders for The Athletic. The Raiders were indeed sniffing around Brady as late as this week, according to league sources. While it is true they never made him an offer, some ballpark numbers were made known to him at some point. I would say this is a really bad sign, twofold, for the Raiders, because Brady apparently had done a bunch of homework and knew personnel-wise why he wanted Tampa. If you read Rick Stroud's article, from the Tampa Tribune, Rick pointed out that there wasn't much sale done by Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich or even Jason Light. It was more Tom Brady knew who they had, wanted to work out some logistics, didn't ask for any sort of power in terms of player personnel or even play calling, whatever, and just knew you had some dudes, knew you had a good offensive line. There was some probably other things to discuss. Hey, if you give me all their phone numbers, that's all I really need. That's the story. That Tom Brady didn't want anything other than everybody's phone number that he was going to play with. The Raiders sniffing around, one, tells you how they really feel about Derek Carr. Two, Derek Carr knows how they really feel about Derek Carr. And three, it tells you what Tom Brady thinks about their supporting cast. He didn't engage with the Raiders. He did with the Chargers. It wasn't about market size. Otherwise, Tampa wouldn't have been involved. Tom Brady doesn't think the Raiders are close in terms of the dudes. Doesn't think they're a quarterback away. And the Raiders don't think they have the quarterback to put them in the hunt. This is equal parts bad news. Equal parts bad news. It reminds me of the late Tony Sparano when he was coach of the Miami Dolphins. His next to last season with the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, still the owner of the Dolphins, went on his private plane and tried to pitch Jim Harbaugh, who was then the head coach at Stanford, to being his coach. It got public. He got turned down. And then you're like, no. We love Tony Sparano. Come on, man. Coaches and players, they're not safety schools. It's not how they operate. They want to feel the love. And now when you say you really do love working with a guy, they just roll their eyes knowing what you really think and what you really feel. I mean, the worst part about it is we heard these rumors going back to Kyler Murray. And people thought the Raiders might trade up. And now, as much as you could sit there and go, no. No, they were all in on Derek Carr. Now you're like, nothing the Raiders said holds any water. Because they're saying now they weren't in on Brady. They had no, Derek Carr was their guy. And they were still kicking the tires on Tom Brady. They probably did want Kyler Murray, just didn't have the equity to move up in the draft, and Arizona knew what they wanted. They probably did want Tom Brady, but did not have the weaponry in order to drive him to want to be there. And I don't think it speaks too highly of John Gruden, who thinks of himself as a quarterback guy, a football guy, and yet Bruce Arians, who has not won a Super Bowl as a head coach, ends up getting the prize.